No, they are therefore one with every other. Sorry about that little confusion. Okay, we welcome you all once again, and we're going to finish our Appendix 3 today with the remaining letters. Sister Catalina will take it forward with her insightful and well-researched presentation. Welcome, Sister.
Hello, Sister Vimal. Greetings, everyone. And thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks to Brother Pradeep, Sister Vimal, Sister Sushma, and all the team of the Indian section. As always, I suggest us to start with a moment of silence, just to gather ourselves here and just be aware of this present moment that we are sharing. The silence helps us realign with the deeper purpose that unites us beyond time and place as fellow travelers seeking the truth together. So just for some seconds, let's be aware of here and the now. Well, I'll share my screen. No. Okay, so as mentioned by Sister Vima, today we will go through the last part of the Appendix 3. That, as we know, this is a compilation of 25 fragments, comments, and small letters between H.P.B. and Sinnet, but not only them, but also it includes letters and from other figures of the time like Sinnet, Hume, Anna Kingsford, and others that we are going to see today. And the previous letters emphasize that of this appendix emphasize how the Mahatmas shaped not just doctrine but the inner development of early members. True connection with the masters, they taught, requires deep inner change, not just intellect or ambition. And this was especially clear in the contrast between Sinnet's openness and Hume's skepticism, and Hume's difficulty in accepting the Mahatma's impersonal tone and rejection of a personal God that led to certain affirmations that he does along the letter. And we also looked at Anna Kingsford's letter to Samuel Ward, where she defends the path of theosophy, and also we see that her approach is more of favoring a Western intuitive approach over the Eastern authority. And she critiques Sinnet because he focused more on phenomena, and we see that there were some conflict at the time between both of them. And the topics across all the appendix, including today's sessions, are relationship with the Mahatmas and the esoteric path, the personal struggles and sacrifice, the occult teachings and practical instruction and phenomena, and the defense of the Theosophical Society, and some advice by the masters on the administration. So today we will begin with the letter 193 and 193A. Actually, I'll take them together because they complement each other. The 193A is the comment of the Mahatma on 193. So both are of 1882. And the letter 193 is a letter that was written from W. Ellington to Sinnet. And it has, as I mentioned, the comment of the master. So what Wellington wrote to Sinnet was the following. The paper upon which I am writing was brought by Ernest to me last evening. I have no doubt it is yours. You already know of my conversion to theosophy and my having seen the brothers. I am certain if I were in any other position than that of a medium, gaining his living, by his gifts, the brothers will be enabled to manifest with great clearness and certainty. Kindly remember me to Madame Blavatsky when you write, and believe me. Yours faithfully, W. Ellington. So this letter from William L. Ellington is a brief but revealing communication with Sinnet that express his recent joining to theosophy, stating that he has seen the Mahatmas and that believes more direct contact, and that he believes that more direct contact with them will be possible if he were not a professional medium, a role that he acknowledged as a limiting issue due to the skepticism that it invites at the time. Let's remember that at the time, all these phenomena, etc., were being very questioned and were one of the reasons that many people used to go against the theosophical movement that was taking birth at the time. So his tone in this letter to Sinnet is suggesting a desire to be accepted more fully within the theosophical circle, despite that stigma that was attached to paid mediumships. And he also refers to Ernest bringing Sinnet's paper to him, someone named Ernest, but it is not like it is in, I forgot the name of this mark, like the commas on top. That implies some kind of occult transmission, which will have been significant to theosophists at the time. But that's just a guess of mine. Let's remember, for those who haven't heard about William Ellington, he was a British spiritualist medium known for physical phenomena. You can see his picture there. And he allegedly said that he has met the Mahatmas. And he was supportive to theosophy, but in spite of that, his reputation was marred by fraud accusations, making him a controversial figure in a movement that aimed to distance itself from sensationalist spiritualism. So also let's remember that some years before, in 1979, one of the reasons why the theosophical movement switched from US to India was to kind of, because due to all this spiritualism wave that was at the beginning in New York when the TS was founded, there were a lot of contradictors and a lot of prejudices. So all these, it's important to understand the context of the time to know why he is affirming things such as, I am certain if I were in any other position than that of a medium gaining his living by his gifts, the brothers would be enabled to manifest with great clearness and certainty, for instance. So as mentioned, this letter is immediately followed by letter 193A, which is a brief note from Master K.H. that directly complements and responds to the context of the letter 193. Master K.H. message states as follows. He says, "This to prove that living men can appear through such excellent mediums in London, even though themselves at Seagate, Tibet." So, sorry. It serves as both confirmation and a subtle validation of phenomenon that Ellington was referring to. By calling Ellington an excellent medium, K.H. appears to acknowledge the success of the phenomenon while offering an indirect endorsement. And this lends credibility to Ellington's claim in letter 193 of being in contact with the brothers. So if we take these two letters together, They highlight a rare moment where a professional medium like Ellington receives cautious recognition from a Mahatma, suggesting that genuine occult contact was possible, even to someone outside the inner theosophical circle, albeit under very specific conditions. This acknowledgement from the Mahatma validates in some way Ellington's experience and kind of reinforces a fundamental principle in theosophy. And it is that the masters are not disembodied spirits, but living men who can, under the right conditions, make contact across great distances because they have reached such a level of evolution that they are capable of that. And it also shows the master's willingness to use different channels when the opportunity serves a higher purpose. But this is important when the opportunity serves a higher purpose. So the Viveka has to be always there. And that's why sometimes maybe Hume found a little difficult because the masters knew better when to and when not to. So these two letters are followed in the Appendix-III by the 194, which is also from 1882. And it's only this. The whole comment that we can see in the book is only pray, preserve this, M. And there is a note that says that this is a note to a letter written by a certain E. I am guessing Ellington, Ernest, that was being mentioned, we don't know, addressed to my father. So I went and searched this letter to my father, and this letter to my father is a heartfelt reaffirmation of faith. Sorry, this letter to my father, as I mentioned, it is not copied in the book, but I found it, and it is dated October 3rd, 1882. And is a deeply personal and emotional declaration of renewed faith and submission from a disciple, signed only as E. And it was annotated by Master Moria, pray serve this, indicating its significance. If it was not a very significant one, probably Master Moria wouldn't have put pray to serve this. And the letter describes a transformative encounter of two chelas of the master that were sent to Simla, one delivering a direct message from the master. And this experience somehow confirms to the writer that his earlier faith was not misplaced. I'm not going to read the entire of the letter, but I have put some parts of it, some sentences of it there in green. This letter stands in the thematic continuity with letters 193 and 193A, especially in regard to the physical or semi-physical appearances of the masters or their agents at a distance. Like Ellington's claim of receiving a letter via Ernest and K.H. affirmation that appearances can happen through excellent mediums, even from Tibet. This letter shows another instance of the masters reaching out across vast distances to affirm presence and guidance. So as mentioned, the writer is identified as E, and he confirms the master's promise was fulfilled. And he says, this is the first statement there, the two chelas have been to Simla, and one of them has given me your message and letter. He is grateful, and he declares with trust the following statement. I was right in believing unhesitantly in you. So here we observe that unlike skeptics such Hume or many others that were at the time, this E that signs the letter shows full accountability. And that is reaffirmed in the third statement there that says, If I voluntarily transgress, no, I shall indeed deserve punishment. So he actually accepts the master's discipline without complaint. He says, I murmur not. I am content to wait yet another year. This has, last time last to last, I don't remember, we read something on which Hume was like telling, I will give one more year, but if I cannot have proof, I will retire and I will just leave the Theosophical Society, like I won't waste my time. But this is a very big contrast with that attitude, because here he is saying, I am content to wait yet another year. And see, and then he continues, your punishment is yet another proof of your justice tempered with mercy. And central to the visit's teaching was the following sentence that says, it was explained to me that it was better to be a dupe than test your master. So this is like complete trust and surrender in the master's method, in the master's decision, in the master's way. And that very beautiful letter ends with a humble plea, saying, blot out my conduct previous to the 3rd October. It may be referring to some previous conduct in which the student may have doubt, probably. And he says, your faithful Chela. So in contrast to others, this E shows devotion, humility, and willingness to follow the path with singleness of mind and purpose. That those are the words that E uses in this letter. So these 3 letters, 193, 93A, and 94, together reveal the dual nature of theosophical link with the greatest ones, outer phenomena and inner transformation as complementary aspects of the path. Letters 193 and 93A affirm that contact with the masters is possible, even through mediums. And this 194, shows that such contact is meant to inspire inner change, moral strength, loyalty, and readiness. So they kind of complement each other. For theosophical students, these letters teach that while phenomena may confirm the reality, it is in reality the inner response what truly matters. So if the inner response is not tuned, no matter how many phenomena, there will be always, or there can be always, the seed of the doubt. But when the inner response and inner conviction and alignment is there, even if there is no phenomena, the link and the trust will be there. Ultimately, the masters give signs, but always to serve deeper transformation. So let us remember that if at all any phenomena happens, the only purpose of it is not to say, oh, I saw it, the master showed himself to me, or it's the real purpose is to serve the deeper transformation and to put the seed of inspiration that there is something bigger. Let us continue with the letter 195. That is from March 1882. I'm not quoting the entire letter. And this is a fragment by K.H. that goes, have no objection whatever against you speaking of pictures. It's a letter that he addresses to Sinnet. Of pictures alleging to represent my humble self. Yet, as they are sufficiently myself to make. I feel to make me, sorry, myself to make feel uncomfortable if hands other than your own touch them. I'll see what can be done for and face. Please see to that, sorry. Yeah, please see to that review of Maitland's work. I have good reasons to desire it to be done so as to attract the attention of the word of the spiritualists. I guess I missed a couple of words there, but basically, and actually, this fragment is also not very complete in the book because it is said there that the letter is in a very bad condition, is damaged. So this is what will be kind of grasped from it. And this small fragment from Master KH sheds light on his nuanced relationship with Sinnet and the wider spiritualist and the theosophical circles around that time, 82, 83, which was a time when public portrayals of the Mahatmas were becoming sensitive. Master KH acknowledges that while Sinnet may speak about or share images of him, he expresses discomfort with how others handle them, reflecting esoteric concerns about the about the psychic integrity of such representations. There is a line, this line that says, I'll see what can be done. Likely it refers to Sinnet's request for a full face portrait, to which KH responds without commitment, maintaining the usual caution around personal exposure. So there is a significant passage also in this fragment that he says, please see to that review of Maitland's work. I have good reasons to desire it to be done so as to attract the attention of works of the world of spiritualists. And this is referring to Edward Maitland, about whom we discussed last session, who was the collaborator of Anna Kingsford, and whose Christian esoteric views often clash with Eastern theosophy. Master KH interest in reviewing Maitland's work may suggest a strategic attempt to engage the spiritualist audience and not to adopt their views, but to shift their focus toward more active spiritual principles that are aligned with theosophy. Because masters, I mean, in that time, that was this kind of division in the London Lodge between the Christian esoteric view of Kingsford and Maitland and the more inclined Eastern view of Sinnet. The masters gave a lot of instruction and a lot of advice for them to especially to Sinnet, to deal with the things that were happening at the time in order to preserve the harmony in the principles. So overall, the letter reveals the master's careful navigation of public image and spiritual influence. Master KH concerns show an awareness of how easily genuine teachings can be distorted when exposed indiscriminately. This letter reflects thoughtful engagement with discretion, purpose, and a desire to guide seekers away from sensationalism toward real inner work, which is what really matters after all. So yes, that's letter 195. Next in the appendix, it goes to the 198, that is from 1881, which is a comment from Hume on an article that was published by Gerald Macy in the Theosophies of December 1881. In case someone wants to refer, it is between the pages 80 and 82. And there is a reply by master. So as you can see, all the comments by the masters I am putting in purple color, and what are the letters? It's what is not said by the masters by another person, it's like in blue. So this this article, I will just say briefly what it is about. The article that Hume is commenting. This article by Gerald Massey challenges the unclear and symbolic descriptions that theosophists use for elemental forces, questioning whether these beings have any form of mind or consciousness. He urges Eastern occultists to move beyond metaphor and offer more precise explanations. Massey suggests a new perspective that elementals may be lingering spirit of animals, an idea that is more familiar to the spiritualism or spiritism. He critiques the reliance on ancient myths and proposed that had occultists engaged with Darwin's theory of evolution, they might have recognized elementals as remnants of humanity's evolutionary past. This is like in big terms what this article of Macy is about. And the following note is in A.O. Hume's handwriting, and he says, the ring of doubt in the sentence, if the theosophies were also evolutionists. He's quoting that specific sentence that Macy mentions in his article. Forces us to become painfully aware of the fact that Mr. Macy is not reader of theosophies, if he has ever seen it. Otherwise, he could not have been ignorant of the fact that the 2/3 of the members of the Theosophical Society are evolutionists, and that their journal is preeminently so. And when we go to the article in the Theosophist of 1881, there is also an editor's note referring to this specific affirmation, if the Theosophists were also an evolutionist. And it's a quite long comment from the editor in general of all the Macy's article. But I have make a small summary of these, especially in what respects to this, if the Theosophists were also an evolutionist. The editor's note says something on the lines like, if Theosophists embrace evolutionary science, they might better understand the spiritual aspects of humanity's past, including the spirits of man's predecessors, and points that both materialistic scientists and superficial understandings of evolution are limited, pointing out that physical evolution alone cannot explain the emergence of the human soul or the higher principles. And instead, it calls for recognition of a parallel spiritual evolution unfolding alongside the physical process, one that only deep occult study can begin to grasp. We could go on sessions on this aspect of evolution, which is one of the main concepts or core concepts of theosophy. Of course, due to limitation of time, we are not going to go on that. So we will go to the master's comment. Master M's comment goes like this. He says, and this is what he's saying to Hume. He's answering Hume's comment. He says, you do not say the meaning at all. Ask Mr. Sinnet to do this for you. He'll see what the man means and answer him. So he is better suited to answer Macy than Hume, as per what Master is saying. He himself volunteered last night for something more difficult. Not two and two, as he just said. Let him then, who acquitted himself so neatly of one thing, to do this one likewise, and so oblige his illustrious friend. And it signs M, and then there is a D, 2 spaces, better. So this brief letter from December 1881 captures the ongoing tension between Eastern spiritual insight and Western rationalism, an issue that has already been seen in Hume's correspondence. The exchange that occurs in this letter was sparked by Macy's remark, quoted by Hume as if that if the Theosophists were also an evolutionist. So Hume responded defensively, claiming that this proved that Macy is not reader of the Theosophies if he has ever seen it, insisting that two-thirds of the members of the Theosophical Society are evolutionists, and that the journal itself is preeminently so. But Master Morian intervened with a pointed correction. He says, "You do not size the meaning at all. Ask Mr. Sinnet to do this for you." We could think that this revealed that Hume had missed the deeper intent of Macy's critique. Maybe. It reminds anyway that Master Moria implies that true spiritual work often lies beneath the surface of appearances. So that can be a way to go about the interpretation of what Master is saying there. And I was saying that this letter captures the ongoing tension between Eastern and spiritual insight and Western rationalism, also because let us remember that Gerald Massey, who is there in that picture, once was a leading figure in the Theosophical Society at some point. But later, as it occurred with Hume also, he distanced himself from its reliance on secretive hierarchy and occult display. So Blavatsky called him her respected guru in Egyptology because he had a very wide knowledge in Egyptology. He came at some point to prioritize symbolic interpretation and inner realization over outer phenomena. So Master Moria's sharp tone reflects a common concern in the Mahatma letters, and it is that Western minds often approach spiritual teachings through intellect and debate rather than intuitive understanding. And his scripted closing that is D two spaces better likely means do better, maybe, subtly reinforcing the path of esoteric training through humility and reflection. Maybe that's what can mean. Maybe, I mean, some of you can have another interpretation. Okay, so this is letter 198. Then I'll take, since we are talking about the theosophies, I'll take together the letters 199 and 207. 207 is the last letter that is listed in the Appendix-III, but I decided to put it with this one because they refer to a similar aspect that is the theosophists. So the first part of the precipitated note, LBS 199, is in Master KH writing, and it is followed by H.P.B. comment. And it goes like this. He says, "Send this to Mr. Sinnet, having now received all the necessary explanations from me. He will not refuse me the personal favor I now ask him. Let him enlighten his brother Theosophists in his turn by writing an answer to this for the next Theosophist and sign himself, Aleichel." And HPB comments, "And now he must need precipitate here too. Very much obliged to him anyhow. One trouble less on my shoulders. Found the precipitation on opening the wrapper, HPB." This is a very brief exchange that reveals more than just editorial logistics. It highlights the deep ongoing relationship between the Mahatmas and their close disciples, and the vital role of the Theosophist as a bridge, the Theosophist, the magazine, as a bridge between ancient wisdom and the modern world. Let us remember that the Theosophist was founded by HPB in 1879, and the journal served as a key channel for the master's teachings and public guidance on esoteric matters. and its continued publication until today. Every month we can still read the Theosophies. Is, in my opinion, a testament to its lasting spiritual purpose. So here I take a pause to really invite everyone to read the Theosophies. It's such a jewel that we have monthly in our hands. And it's this jewel that H.P.B. founded in 1879 and that the masters took as a bridge, as the bridge to propagate this kind of wisdom that was being shared at the time. Then there is an instruction by KH in this letter that says, "Let him enlighten his brother Theosophists by writing an answer to this for the next Theosophist and sign himself, Alei Chela." This shows the seriousness with which the masters use the journal, not just as a publication, but as a tool for transformation and shared learning. It models humility and responsibility in service to truth. And HPB makes a kind of light-hearted comment, which adds a human touch, reminding us that even amidst occult phenomena, the work was demanding and grounded in everyday effort. So on similar lines, the LBS 207, which has no date, goes. And it's a comment by Master M. As good as everything he writes, have you any objection to asking him whether he has any himself to have this published in the Theosophies? Thanks for writing the 2 articles, M. This brief note from Master Moria, like KH earlier message in 199, highlights the importance that the master placed on the Theosophies as a tool for sharing and clarifying teachings. And it's important to note, when I was reading the original issue, the articles have notes of the editor that we know that it was Madame Blavatsky. So it was really a compendium of a lot of clarification and wisdom because every article was commented by the editor. So really it was a very important tool for clarification of concepts at the moment. The comment by Master M, as good as everything he writes, shows his trust in the disciples' insight and the journal's role as a vital platform for spiritual dialogue. It reinforced and contributed contributions to the Theosophies from the Mahatmas and all these advices that they are giving. It's not an editorial matter, but it is a part of an ongoing collaborative tradition aligned with the original work of the masters themselves. In a sense, these 2 letters show a moment that reflects how the Theosophies function on many levels, as a practical platform, as a mystical bridge, and a living link to the movement's founding impulse that is still active and still shared. Okay, so next fragment is the LBS 200, which I am going to present along with a further one that is the 203. Both are of 1882. And it says, no member of one society has any right to vote in another, nor can members be such in 2 or several lodges unless especially requested to do so by the council, sorry. Bodies, for instance, could not be forced as members in a Brahmin society. M. This note offers a practical yet important clarification on Theosophical Society organization. It states that members can't vote in multiple lodges without council approval, and use the example of the Buddhist and the Brahmin society, and reflects Master's concern for harmony, mutual respect, and thoughtful inclusion across cultural and spiritual lines, showing their role in shaping both esoteric vision and ethical structure within the society. And then the 203 says, Tell him you have just heard from Upasika. I was with you. Members who have proved willing after choosing a president will have to reorganize entirely, and a new charter on the new principle as delineated by you should be sent to them. Consult Alcott. The new organization is a very poor one in numbers, and yet not even 50 are good for the working hand. Your presence at Mumbai will save everything, and yet, seeing how reluctant you feel, I will not insist. Signed, KH. It's a short letter from Master KH that complements the previous one, the 200, and signals a decisive shift in the Theosophical Society toward deeper esoteric work. What we were discussing, had been a little more focused at the beginning in the phenomena, but now it was a moment to do a deeper esoteric work. And he affirms his presence and urges full organization based on new principles likely proposed by Sinnet. And he says that coordination is essential, write to and consult to Alcott, he says. And also he notes the society's fragility when he refers to 50 members are not good for the work, etc. And he stresses also Sinnet's vital role. This meeting that he is mentioning is likely a reference to a meeting that took place on December 7th of the same year in Mumbai that was chaired by Sinnet. But also he gently adds, I will not insist, like the master also gives the freedom to the student. Overall, the letter reveals the master's desire to reshape the society into a true esoteric school, probably with Sinnet at the center of that transformation, if we go and see it in the context of the time. Now, there are some remaining letters of this appendix that are 201, 202, 204, and 205, and 206. I will not quote them directly due to our time limitation and also due to the fact that they refer to issues previously discussed in other moments of the appendix. I will only add that these brief yet thematically connected letters from Master KH offer a glimpse into his ongoing mentorship to A.P. Sinnet during a pivotal moment in the Theosophical Society's evolution. Together, they reflect key concerns about the transmission of esoteric knowledge, the role of trusted intermediaries, and the dangers of misinterpretation. So whatever is in purple color are the words of the letter that are the words of the masters, because all of these are comments from the masters, all this compendium of letters that I have put together here. So in 201, Master KH warns against our ideas being substituted by concrete and false images, stressing that the public should receive only relative, not absolute truth. This caution underscores a core principle of the Mahatma letter, that is, spiritual truths must be conveyed gradually and symbolically to prevent distortion. 202 furthers this dynamic by inviting Sinnet's input on two letters, saying, my honored friend A.P. Sinnet is respectfully requested to carefully peruse the contents of the two enclosed letters and give his honest and frank opinion thereon, showing trust in his discernment and illustrating how the society's teachings were collaboratively shaped. 206 and 204 turn to practical matters. In 204, it said, put your letters in her pocket or under her pillow at night, referring to using HPB as a medium of communication, while other remarks along these letters, all are very short, reflect delays and strain in correspondence due to misunderstanding, especially involving Hume. I'm not going to quote that part because we have seen that topic already in previous letters. And in 2005, the master clearly states, the time for our new effort is not yet. revealing the fragility and timing required for occult efforts to bear fruit. So altogether, all these letters illustrate a strategic and deeply personal approach to occult instruction. The masters aim to introduce metaphysical principles into the Western minds with care, using figures like Sinnet as bridges, while warning against literalism and ego-driven dissemination. KH as advice to succeed in giving them only relative, not absolute truth, remains relevant today as a reminder to approach all teaching with humility, clarity, and ethical discernment. So discernment is always a very key word in any philosophical study, and especially in the Mahatma letters. So as a conclusion, studying any communication related to the master sheds light on multiple levels: historical, philosophical, psychological, and of course, spiritual. Historically, it deepens our understanding of the origins and evolution of the theosophical movement. Philosophically, it challenges us to grasp the nuanced principles of esoteric wisdom. Psychologically, it reveals the inner struggles, discipline, and transformation required for sincere seekers. And spiritually, it offers glimpses into a path guided by compassion, discernment, and a higher purpose. So for present-day students, these teachings remain profoundly relevant. They remind us that practical theosophy is not about abstract ideals, but it is about living them with integrity, practicing them in our daily lives with humility, and with this intention of inner awakening, though that are qualities that are needed now more than ever. So with this, I finally end the Appendix 3. It took us 4 sessions, but okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
You've done a remarkable job, Catalina. Thank you so much. And I now welcome the Hindi translator. Is it Dr. Sushma today or?
Sushma, Sister Sushma.
Yes. Please come.
नमस्कार सबको। थैंक यू सिस्टर कैटेलिना, थैंक यू सिस्टर विमल जी। आज मैं अपेंडिक्स 3 के अंतिम भाग का हिंदी अनुवाद प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ।
आप वीडियो ऑन करिए ना मैडम।
ये लेटर नंबर 193 में सेनेट को लिखा था और बाद में 193 पत्र में मास्टर एम ने टिप्पणी की है। एग्लिंटन लिखते हैं, प्रिय महोदय, जिस पेपर पे मैं लिख रहा हूं वह पेपर कल शाम अर्नेस्ट द्वारा मेरे पास लाया गया था। मुझे कोई संदेह नहीं है कि यह पेपर आपका है। आप पहले से ही जानते हैं कि थियोसॉफी के प्रभाव से मुझ में रूपांतरण हो गया है। मैंने बंधुओं को देखा है। मुझे विश्वास है कि अगर मैं एक प्रशिक्षित माध्यम यानी प्रोफेशनल मीडियम न होकर किसी अन्य स्थिति में होता जो स्वयं अपनी प्रतिभाओं से अपना जीवन यापन करता है, तो बंधु यानी गुरुदेव बहुत स्पष्टता एवं निश्चितता के साथ अभिव्यक्त करने में समर्थ होते। कृपया जब आप मैडम HPB से पत्र व्यवहार करें तो उन्हें मेरी याद दिलाएं। मुझ पर विश्वास करें। आज्ञाकारी W. एग्लिंटन। इस पत्र पर महात्मा एम टिप्पणी करते हैं। वह कहते हैं कि यह साबित करने के लिए कि जीवित व्यक्ति यानी गुरुदेव ऐसे उत्कृष्ट माध्यमों यानी एक्सीलेंट मीडियम्स के द्वारा लंदन में भी प्रकट हो सकते हैं, भले ही वे तिब्बत के किसी गांव या क्षेत्र में रहते हों। KH। लेटर नंबर 194 ईयर 1882। इस पत्र में मास्टर एम की टिप्पणी है। वो लिखते हैं, यह निश्चित रूप से किसी ई, ये अल्फाबेट ई का जिक्र है। वो कहते हैं ये एग्लिंटन या अर्नेस्ट द्वारा लिखे गए पत्र में संबोधन है, माय फादर, मेरे पिता। मास्टर एम का नोट है, कृपया इसे सुरक्षित रखें। लेटर नंबर 195 मार्च 1882 का है। यह मास्टर केएच के पत्र का अंश है। इसमें मास्टर सेनेट को संबोधित करते हैं। वह लिखते हैं, मुझे आपके द्वारा विनम्र व्यक्तित्व का प्रतिनिधित्व करने वाले चित्रों के बारे में बोलने पर कोई आपत्ति नहीं। फिर भी जैसे वे हैं मेरे लिए पर्याप्त है। अगर आपके अलावा कोई और इन्हें स्पर्श करता है तो मैं असहज महसूस करता हूं। मैं देखूंगा कि इसके लिए क्या किया जा सकता है। कृपया मेटलैंड के कार्य की समीक्षा देखें। मेरे पास इसके पूर्ण किए जाने की इच्छा होने के उत्तम कारण है, अर्थात इसके माध्यम से आध्यात्मवादियों की दुनिया के लोगों का ध्यान आकर्षित किया जा सकेगा। मास्टर केएच। लेटर नंबर 198, ये जेराल्ड मेसी के लेख पर ह्यूम की विवेचना है। उस पर संपादक ने एक नोट लिखा है, यदि थियोसॉफिस्ट विकासवादी भी होते, यह सेंटेंस विद इन इन्वर्टेड कॉमा में है, यदि थियोसॉफिस्ट विकासवादी भी होते, इस वाक्य में संदेह की झलक है। हमें यह तथ्य दुख के साथ यह अवगत कराता है कि जेराल्ड मेसी थियोसॉफिस्ट जर्नल के पाठक नहीं है, या उन्होंने इसे कभी देखा भी है, अन्यथा वह इस तथ्य से अनभिज्ञ नहीं हो सकते थे कि थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के 2/3 सदस्य विकासवादी हैं और उनका थियोसॉफिस्ट जर्नल सर्वोपरि और प्रमुख है। इस पत्र पर मास्टर एम टिप्पणी करते हैं, विद इन इन्वर्टेड कॉमा। वो लिखते हैं, आप अर्थ को बिल्कुल नहीं समझ पाए। वो ह्यूम से कहते हैं कि श्री सिनेट से आप अपना यह कार्य करने के लिए कहें, वे समझेंगे कि उस व्यक्ति के कहने का क्या तात्पर्य है और उसका उत्तर देंगे। आपको अपने से बेहतर व्यक्ति को उपकृत करना चाहिए। लेटर नंबर 199, इस पत्र में मास्टर केज की हस्तलिपि में अवक्षेपण यानी प्रेसिपिटेशन है, और उस प्रेसिपिटेटेड नोट के बाद एचपीबी की निम्नलिखित टिप्पणी थी, आप अब उन्हें गुरुदेव यहां भी प्रक्षेपित करने की आवश्यकता थी। वैसे भी मैं उनसे बहुत अधिक अनुग्रहित थी, क्योंकि मेरे कंधे से एक परेशानी कम हुई और अवक्षेपित पत्र के खोलने पर एचपीबी का आवरण पाया गया। अब थियोसॉफिस्ट में लिखे पत्र के फुटनोट के भाग में जो है वो मास्टर का टिप्पणी है, और इसमें सेनेट को कहते हैं, अब मुझसे सभी आवश्यक स्पष्टीकरण प्राप्त करने के पश्चात वे मुझे व्यक्तिगत अनुग्रह देने से मना नहीं करेगा, जो मैं अब उनसे चाहता हूं। उन्हें अपने थियोसॉफिस्ट बंधुओं के लिए अगले थियोसॉफिस्ट जर्नल के अंक में इसका उत्तर लिखकर ज्ञान प्रदान करना चाहिए और स्वयं एक ले चेला के रूप में हस्ताक्षर करें। ये लेटर नंबर 199 के साथ लेटर नंबर 2007 भी प्रस्तुत कर रही हूं, क्योंकि इसकी विषय वस्तु एक है, इसमें डेट नहीं है। मास्टर कहते हैं, मास्टर एम, कि वह जो कुछ लिखता है वो इतना ही अच्छा लिखता है। आपसे थियोसॉफिस्ट में प्रकाशित होने के लिए 2 लेख लिखने का आग्रह करने में कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। थैंक यू मास्टर एम। पत्र संख्या 200 और 203, इन दोनों पत्रों की विषय वस्तु भी एक है, इसीलिए सिस्टर कैटेलिना ने एक साथ प्रस्तुत किया है। मैं भी उसे एक साथ प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। मास्टर लिखते हैं कि नियम की सही व्याख्या की गई है। एक सोसाइटी के किसी भी सदस्य को दूसरे सोसाइटी में वोट देने का अधिकार नहीं है, न ही सदस्यगण 2 या कई लॉज में ऐसा कर सकते हैं, जब तक कि समिति द्वारा ऐसा करने के विशेष रूप से अनुरोध न किया जाए। उदाहरण के लिए, बौद्धों को ब्राह्मण समाज में सदस्य होने के लिए मजबूर नहीं किया जा सकता। इसी के कंटिन्यूएशन में लेटर नंबर 203 है, इसमें मास्टर कहते हैं कि उसे बताएं कि अभी आपने उपासिका यानी एचपीबी से क्या सुना। मैं आपके साथ था। जो सदस्य इच्छुक साबित हुए हैं उनके द्वारा अध्यक्ष के चुनाव के बाद पूरी तरह से पुनर्गठन करना होगा और नए सिद्धांतों पर एक चार्टर बनाना होगा, जैसा कि सेनेट ने प्रस्तावित किया था। वो सेनेट को कहते हैं कि बॉम्बे में आपकी स्थिति सब कुछ बचा लेगी, और फिर भी यह देखते हुए कि आप कितने अनिच्छुक हैं, मैं आग्रह नहीं करूंगा। मास्टर के एच। अब लेटर नंबर 201, यह पत्र में लिखते हैं, वो चेतावनी देते हैं और कहते हैं कि वैसे भी मुझे हमेशा एक खतरा दिखाई देता है। वह यह है कि हमारे पत्रों की अवधारणा को आपके पाठकों के मन में ठोस और झूठी छवियों द्वारा प्रतिस्थापित यानी सब्स्टिट्यूट किया जाता है। यदि आप उनको केवल सापेक्ष यानी रिलेटिव ट्रुथ देते, न कि निरपेक्ष ट्रुथ, तो उनके लिए एक वरदान होता। ये सिस्टर ने लेटर नंबर 201, 202, 204, 205 और 206 एक साथ प्रस्तुत किया है, तो मैं भी उसी के कंटिन्यूएशन में प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। अब लेटर नंबर 202, इसमें मास्टर लिखते हैं कि एच, मेरे सम्मान्य मित्र, एपी सेनेट से आदर पूर्वक अनुरोध है कि वे दोनों संलग्न पत्रों की विषय वस्तु को ध्यान पूर्वक पढ़ें और इस पे अपनी अंग्रेजी यानी पाश्चात्य दृष्टिकोण से स्पष्ट राय दें। इस हेतु अत्यंत आभारी, आपका मित्र के एच। लेटर नंबर 204 में लिखते हैं मास्टर कि मुझे लगता है कि हमारी सबसे अच्छी योजना हमारे आपसी मित्र यानी एचपीबी के माध्यम से कार्य करना है। आपको अपने पत्रों को रात को एचपीबी की जेब में या तकिए के नीचे रखना है। मैं देखता हूं कि हमारे आपसी मित्र अभी भी अपने दावे के मूल आधार को निर्विवाद रूप से मानते हैं कि नहीं, जैसा कि कार्यकर्ता कहते हैं। फिर मास्टर कहते हैं कि मास्टर जो है लगातार थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के स्थायित्व के लिए मिस्टर सिनेट और एचपीबी से निरंतर पत्र के माध्यम से संवाद करते हैं, और वो कहते हैं कि इस पत्र में एचपीबी को संचार यानी प्रसारण के माध्यम यानी मीडियम ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन के रूप में उपयोग किए जाने का संदर्भ है। मास्टर्स निर्देश देते हैं कि अपने पत्रों को उनकी जेब में रखें, जो इस बात की पुष्टि करता है। अन्य लोगों की गलत टिप्पणियां पत्राचार में देर कर सकती हैं और तनाव पैदा करती हैं। अंत में मास्टर लेटर नंबर 205 में लिखते हैं कि अभी हमारे नए प्रयासों का समय नहीं आया है। आगे की गलतियों को रोकने के लिए मिस्टर सिनेट, आप जो कर सकते हैं करें। धन्यवाद। आपका हमेशा सच्चा के एच। मैं यही तो यहाँ पत्र यही समाप्त होता है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Sushma ji. And now we open up for any discussions or additions. These letters were very difficult to comprehend because there is a lot of backstory in each one. Like we do need to know a little backstory, then only we will comprehend it. Like for example, the Eglinton letter, it's talking about the letter, the appearance of the master at the Vega ship. But then it talks about the master is saying we masters can appear even in London. Actually, they have appeared in the ship to Eglinton, and Eglinton had gone to India to check about the masters. He never saw anything over there because the masters thought that if we appear in India in front of him, he will think HPB has something to do with it. So on his return back from Calcutta back to London, they took some paper from his printed visiting card, and they wrote something like that was there, the story. Like that, there is something detailed in each one, and the research, Catalina has still tried very hard to get that matter out, and it's difficult to comprehend this thing. So any additions people would like to add? Catalina, how was your experience doing this? You spent almost a month on this now.
Yes, it was a very enriching experience actually, and I thank you for all your, I mean, your being here and your great comments that complement very well the entire, because sometimes there is so many information, there is a lot of information, and it's quite we want to say everything, but sometimes it's, yeah, it's, I mean, as you say, the historical background is a main thing for understanding these letters, yeah. And but
Today,
yeah,
you said that the magazine Theosophist is a living connection between the organization and the members. And I think that was a very profound
mm,
statement you made. And it is it is really amazing that so many members find some space in that for their voice, and they get encouragement for their efforts. So it's very true what you said.
yeah, and I find very inspiring that it's still, I mean, it was founded in 1879 and it still is going monthly. And of course, at the beginning, it was used very much for Blavatsky and the masters to convey all these things. That's why the editor's notes, it's always there. Now it has a different nature, but I mean, it's still uh, part of the work of the masters. Yeah.
Do you, I mean, I know this is off topic, but do you feel at times that like HPB was very much in touch with what was happening in the news at that time? She would take clippings, put it in a scrapbook. She was very aware of the daily news.
Yeah.
But, and so there were articles connected even to that in the Theosophist. But
Yeah.
now I find it's more of esoteric, spiritual,
No, no.
it's a different thing altogether now. Uh, there are, of course, articles connected to, but not as much as then. No?
Yes, I agree with you. I feel at the time it was also not, I was in like a multi-dialogue, not only with the masters and theosophical ideas, but with what was happening at the time, etc. Now it's more like a kind of inner magazine that is more concentrated in philosophical matters. Sometimes historical articles are there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I have the same
Or
feel. But I
I've
guess it's
sometimes
also
confused.
because the time required. I mean, first, Blavatsky was a person that knew, that was in everything. I mean, she was
Yeah,
amazing. And also because of the needs of the time, I mean, because there was a lot of, it was giving birth to a new movement. So people
yeah.
were in constant dialogue with what was happening at the moment. Maybe that also has to do a little bit. I don't know. I have never, I mean, I agree with you. I have never thought it, and I agree with you. Yeah.
It's difficult because I think now we are overwhelmed with information. So really, what is going on in the scientific field, in all these other fields, which are connected to our work, and you see sister organizations, other organizations doing very similar work to our work, but we are not able to really talk about it in our magazines because it is difficult to understand how proper they are, how good they are, how authentic they are. So we can't bring them in. So we very safely do in a way, we end up repeating everything because we very safely stick to the things we know for sure. That's
Mm.
what I think it's happened in the magazine. So it's a risk that the editors would not like to take to mention things which are happening in other organizations, but they won't take that risk
Yeah.
and put it in
And
this.
for that, we of course need, I mean, and maybe this is also an invitation for those who have that kind of knowledge, because for establishing this dialogue with science and all the things that are going on, it's necessary not only, I mean, it's because it's sometimes a difficult thing, two qualities that are not so easy to find in one only person, like this
Uh,
philosophical, spiritual knowledge, plus the scientific one. Oh, I
yeah.
mean, Blavatsky had this
Yes.
wonderful mind and the help of the masters, etc.
Yes.
But of course, I'm not saying we don't have, because there may be a lot of people, but maybe this can be an invitation for those people to contribute more, because otherwise, yeah, as you say, there is
We
a
just have
big
to do our best.
possibility that we, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so with that, we'll close. Catalina, would you like to do our closing prayer also today?
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.